We got a little tea today. A little tea today. Y'all know what? I'm about to make that into a song. Sky Squad, we're back in the building. So it's two interesting stories to me. And I feel like I want to know what you guys think. Now, I'm kind of sure I pretty know what you guys think about the first story because I know how y'all feel about this particular person, as you can see it on the screen. So, do you guys listen to the Two T's in a Pod podcast? I do not. Okay. Not on a regular basis, but I do catch the clips. I am not really the sit down and listen to a podcast type person, mostly because I am so busy creating, okay, or I'm filming this and editing, or pulling out stories or writing my own books, whatever the case may be. Y'all know the drill. Whatever. Anyway, I saw this clip and I said, you know what? We got to talk about it. We got to talk about it. So, shout out to our friends No Chaser TV for pulling this out. But it's something that's buried in it that I thought was super interesting. So they're recapping the episode of Potomac. It's Dolores and it is Tammy Sue, Tamra Judge, and they are talking about Kelli. And they go from talking about Kelli versus Portia. Dolores is very much, I think, Team Portia, and about how much grace Portia had with this whole situation with Kelli. But the thing that I thought was very interesting was this, and I talked about this, and I want to know what you guys think. Interestingly enough, Dolores said that she doesn't understand how Kelli can even be on Real Housewives and not show Jarvis, okay? For which I just happened to see Shamia post a date night, and it's a double date night, and she posts Gerald and Kelli, and then Jarvis is supposedly on this date, but he's in not nary a photo, okay? Not none. It is like the Big Papa of it all. Is Jarvis the new Big Papa? But let's get into why is that where we're going with this? And I'm going to explain to you why. I want you to hear me out, okay? So Dolores says this. She says when she started dating Paul, who I'm assuming may not have really wanted to be on camera, the producers told her, okay, so we need to figure out if you're not going to film with him and he's a part of your life, then we're going to have to renegotiate your participation in this show. Now, let's take it back to Kelli. Kelli is unable to show the kids, okay? And I would think, I don't agree with this per se all the time because I don't think it applies to everyone. I don't know that all housewives need to be pressured to have a man, right? However, I do understand the need and the desire to at least want to be able to show the kids, okay? If you can't show relationship, can you show family life? Now, here's where we have some interesting things coming in. Now, I thought that was interesting, number one, that they told Dolores that, and that she said it, actually. But it goes back to, I wonder, okay? This is what I wonder. If Kelli can't show the kids and she can't show Jarvis, my thought is, why even bring him up at all, right? Now, Dolores said the same thing. I want you guys to understand the name Jarvis, okay? And why I think this is so crazy. You heard, for those of you guys who are not Marvel Comics fans, okay? You are not Marvel Comics fans. You may not have understood the name Jarvis, okay? So when you heard her say, we'll just call him Jarvis, and when you heard them say, well, what's his real name, or something to that effect, and he said Tony Stark, okay? Tony Stark is Iron Man, okay? For those of you guys who may have seen the Avengers movies, you will know that Robert Downey Jr. plays Iron Man. Why is all of this important, okay? Jarvis was an AI that Tony Stark built. An AI, meaning not a real person. That's why this whole thing is so crazy to me. So to then see, I'm not saying the man is AI, okay? I'm just telling you what Jarvis is in the comics. And I'm not telling you this man is not real because we've heard his voice. But that's all we ever used to hear from Jarvis in the Avengers before he eventually kind of turned into Ultron / Vision. But that's a whole different thing for and deeper Marvel comics lore than maybe what you need right now for this particular conversation. But I want to let you know where this all comes from. Okay? Having said that, when you then look deeper into this whole situation, what you discover is, this is in my opinion, now that I'm looking at Shamia's post on Instagram, go check it out for yourself. All it is her, Gerald, and Kelli. Jarvis is not pictured, but it's a double date with Jarvis. I just think it's crazy to me. And what I would have wondered is, and this is no disrespect to Kelli, right? My wonder is if they were going to probably position her as a friend of the show. That's what I had heard, but I could be wrong. But this beef with Portia kind of elevated her situation. Now, that's not to say that Kelli doesn't have a lot of stuff going on, because she does. She's got the turmoil with the restaurants, and there's a lot happening with her own personal story. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that it's interesting to me because she cannot show her kids, unfortunately. And well, at least all of them. She has a daughter that she can show because the daughter's of age and in college. But the minor kids she can't show. Now, but the daughter's in college, so she's not there that often. So then you can't show your man or whoever it is that you're dating, Jarvis. It feels like an incomplete story. What do you guys think about this whole situation? I don't know. What do you make of it? I wanted to emphasize, I wanted to give you guys, I didn't give you guys the full Jarvis context for those of you guys who are into Marvel or maybe did not know where that name came from. That's where it comes from. Okay. Next, I'm going to talk about this. So if you look at this scene here, this is a scene from the upcoming episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. And Tori Naughton is here from 3LW, also from Power. Some of you guys actually may know her more from Power than you would from 3LW, because I feel like some of the kids won't really know 3LW. I'm getting a little tired of your broken promises. She didn't sing that line, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Baby, I'ma do right. So there's a scene that we have featuring Pinky and Tori Naughton. They are partners on a project. I think it's called Edgewood. But the project is basically, I'm assuming it's telling Pinky's story of her rise. I can't really get a clear idea. What I can get an idea of is that Drew joins the scene because she has been invited to audition. Now, again, so has Shamia. So I don't know if they are auditioning for the same role or not. But what I do know is Drew is like, no, ma'am, Pam, I'm not auditioning for this. That's not how any of this works. Because apparently what happened was Pinky gets in contact with Drew to see if she could audition for whatever role it is in this production. We already know that Drew is an actress and she's not above doing projects with cast members, because we know that she did The Pass with Candy and Todd, but she also knew that was probably going to be big because it was going to be premiering and airing on the Peacock. Okay. So listen, for me, I'll take it wherever I can get it, baby. And I know I'm not Drew, but I'm just saying I'll put my movies and stuff like that on the Tubi. I will go there. You can put my stuff wherever it is that I'm going to get paid and the people can see it, okay? We can license it to some other networks after we're done recouping our funds for making this film or whatever it is that we're going to be doing. But Drew is like, I'm not auditioning for this because it did not go through the proper channels. But Pinky is and Notori are kind of shocked. So what it sounds like happened is Drew is saying, I told Pinky to contact my new manager, Keon. And from there, it goes through a proper booking process wherein I am sent over the sides. Sides, for those of you guys who don't know, are essentially like lines from a scene. Okay, that's what Shamia's reviewing when Drew walks in. Now there's some tension there, I think, because I think that Shamia thinks that Drew is also auditioning as well, and maybe they can sort of practice together. And Drew's like, no, ma'am, I'm not here to do that because I'm not going to do a cattle call. So a lot of times what they call a cattle call is you just kind of invite people in and they get the sides when they get there. That's not really how, in my opinion. Now, I haven't seen the full scene, but in my opinion, it really, not in my opinion. I've seen this is how it works. This is what you want, right? You really want for when you are working in this business, you want them to send you the sides and the scenes beforehand so you can adequately prepare for the audition. So when you go in to read your lines, you already kind of either know them or you're so familiar with them that you can fall into the role in a way that is probably better than if you just kind of go in cold and receive the sides while you're sitting there and then have to kind of try to figure them out as you're going along. I really wouldn't want to do that if I was Drew either. Now, Pinky is kind of annoyed at this whole situation because she's like, I'm not playing cat and mouse with Drew or whatever like that. But if that's the process, and if you told her you were going to send some sides, we don't see it in this scene. But I feel like Pinky, you should kind of know this. And Notori should listen. I'm not saying she don't. All I'm saying is that it's shocking to me that the sides did not get to Drew so that she could come in and make a decision about whether or not she wanted to do this project and then adequately be prepared to do it in that way. Now, some of you guys may be saying, well, Drew should take the opportunities that she can get if they're going to pay. And to that, I say, well, that may be true. But also is true is that in order to really get the best chance for success, I don't know that if I'm Drew, I want to pit myself against another cast member. I'm also not sure that I want to go into this audition blind. Okay. Not that it's technically blind, but you get what I'm saying. Anyway, I just thought that both of these things were fascinating because just having come from a film festival and just working and speaking with so many people who are producing projects, for me, this is something that kind of stuck out and it really, really made me excited. Actually, both of these topics made me excited, but I'm a nerd. I'm a geek. Y'all know how I eat. Y'all know how I get down. So it is what it is. You don't like it. Y'all like it, but I like it. So I hope you do too. Anyway, also, for those of you guys who missed out on the Faceless content class, we're doing one on Saturday. So Saturday, June 6th at 12 noon Eastern. So listen, you do not have to, okay? You do not have to do this on a weekday, all right? I made this specifically for people who need their weeknights to do weeknight things. This is a weekend, so you can get your learning done on the weekend and take some action as well. So with that being said, the link is in the first comment. It's pinned in the first comment because I have people ask, well, where's the link? Or it's buried in the description. It's underneath the description for the video. Okay. So check in those two places and you can sign up there. All right. With that being said, I will see you in the next video.